welcome to this design of a macrocycle consisting of two mesocycles. First mesocycle will be accumulation phase. We'll start at 76%. We remember on the RM continuum is from 7 to 9 repetitions. We have to have this very clear in mind. It's a 3-week mesocycle consisting of 4 days of training. First day would be lower body day number 1. This is squat number 1. We start with the back squat, 7 to 9 repetitions on a 4-0-1-0 tempo. The rest would be 120 seconds because it's accumulation phase. B would be split squat. You have to either keep the same amount of sets and increase or decrease the amount of sets and keep the same amount of repetitions or increase them. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to do 3 times 10 on a 3-0-1-0 tempo. And the rest will depend on the B2 exercise. What we're going to do here is a lying head curl, feet inward, 3 times 10 on a 3-0-1-0 tempo. We have to keep in mind that for the rest ratio, you have to consider if the 2 exercises on a bi-series on a superset is bilateral, both of them. One is bilateral and the other unilateral, or both of them are unilateral. In this case, we have this one that is unilateral and this one is bilateral. So 75 seconds because it goes from 90 to 60. Bilateral will be 90, 75, one bilateral, the other unilateral, and 60, both of them unilateral. C1 exercise. What we're going to do is a dumbbell Polikin step up. This is 2 times 12. We decrease the sets, increase the repetitions on a 2-0-1-0 tempo. And why is that? Because of the range of motion. You don't have that much range of motion, so that's why the tempo it's lower. And the rest depends on the C2. We need here a hip extension exercise. What we're going to do is a 45-degree back extension. Back extension, 2, 12, 2-0-1-0, and the rest. This is unilateral, this is bilateral. The C series you go from 60 to 30. So 60 would be 2 bilateral, 45 would be 1 unilateral, the other bilateral, and 30 would be both of them unilateral. Here we have a unilateral, here we have a bilateral, so it's 45 seconds. Now we are going to move to upper body day number 1. The strength is developed from the top to the bottom, so we start with A1 overhead press. The only way to do an overhead press is with a pronated grip. What you're going going to do here is 7 to 9 on 4010 A2. We're going to do a chin up, with a supine grip. We do 3 sets of 6. Why is that? If we set from 7 to 9, because you want to keep the range from 16 to 18 repetitions. So in this fashion you can have 18 repetitions and you don't over exhaust the athlete. Okay, we do 4010 and the rest is 90. You have to have a 90-degree difference from one exercise to the other. So that will be dumbbell, bench press, alternated, so it's unilateral. We have 3 times 10 on a 3010. Rest will depend on the B2 exercise. What we're going to do here is a dumbbell row, unilateral. It's dumbbell row unilateral. You cannot do bilateral, so dumbbell row on a 3 times 10, 3010. Unilateral would be 60 seconds. Okay, and the dumbbell row, you choose it on a neutral grip. Why is that? Because we already have supine grip on the A2, and they have to be different. You do not want to have 2 supines or 2 pronated, and you have to increase. You have to double the neutral grip and the shoulder width. Here it's going to be shoulder width. Here is also shoulder width. Okay, the elbow 45 degree. Okay, C1, we're going to have easy bar biceps curl. Tempo 3010, 2 times 12, because we reduce the amount of sets, increase the number of repetitions. And here we have easy bar French press. Three, 0, 1, and 1. Why is that? Because at the full extension, you want to have full extension of the elbow. The rest is bilateral, and this is bilateral, so it's 60 seconds. We're going to move to the lower body day number 2. Lower body day number 2, we're going to have front squat. Front squat, we're going to have 3 times 6. Why 6 and not the range of 3 by 7 to 9? That's because the front squat is very high demanding exercise, very complex. If you do more than that, you're going to lose technique and the risk of injury will increase. That's why we do this by 3 sets, 6 repetitions on a 4010 tempo with 120 seconds rest. On the B1 exercise, you have to have a deadlift regression, So what we're going to have is a deadlift, pins above knee cap. What we do here is 3 times 8 on a 3, 1, you rest that, 1 and 1. You completely extend your torso. For C1, when there is a lower body day that is either front squat or deadlift, you have to do a calf raise exercise. Here we do calf raise, seated position, on a seated fashion. And why is that? We want to isolate the soleus. It's a slow twitch fiber muscle, so the soleus can do much more repetitions range. So we do 2, 15. That's due to the fact, as we said, there is a slow twitch fiber. Number 2, you have to do an abs exercise or a strongman exercise. What we are going to do here is a gar hammer raise 2 times 15. We're going to do 2, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 1, 0, and the rest. Bilateral, bilateral, 60 seconds. Okay. We're going to move to the last day of the upper body. Well, the last day of the mesocycle, which would be upper body number 2. Here you follow the 90-degree rule. States you have to do the exercise with a difference of 90-degree angle. So what we're going to do here is A1. We're going to do a barbell bench press. Of course, it's a pronated grip. We do 3, 7 to 9, 4, 0, 1, 0. Rest is going to be 90. We already know that because this and A2 are always basically bilateral. So here we do chin up, neutral grip position, shoulder width. Okay. This one we're going to do it on a close width. Okay. Shoulder width, neutral grip. As we already said, would be 6, 6, and 6. On a 4, 0, 1, 0, we keep the range of 18 repetitions, 90 seconds. We do B1. B1 we do dumbbell overhead press, 90-degree roll, 3 times 10, 3, 0, 1, 0. B2 would depend on the grip of the A2. What we're going to do here is that we're going to do some gorilla rows with kettlebell on a pronated grip, 3 times 10. This is single arm. This is single arm. So the rest would be 60 seconds. Unilateral, unilateral. Here on C1, we're going to do external rotation because when we do bench press, you limit the movement of the scapula. When you limit the movement of the scapula, you have to do a chin up on an advantageous position, and you have to increase the shoulder health type exercises. So that's why we do external rotation, elbow over knee, in front, 2 times 12, 2, 0, 1, 0. The rest would depend on C2 exercise. What we're going to do here is neck flexion. We're going to do neck, this doesn't apply tempo. We do it in a continuous fashion, and the rest is 45 seconds. Bilateral, unilateral. We're going to do the intensification. We have to, before we finish this, we have to take in mind the volume. The volume will be the number of sets times the maximum of repetitions of the A series. So 3 times 9 is 27. Let's have that in mind. When you're going from accumulation to intensification, you increase the intensity from 8% to 15%. We had 76%. If you don't have 84% on the 1 RM continuum, so we're going to increase it by 9% to go to, so we can go to 85%. Okay, intensification would be 85%, 1 RM. Remember, it's 3 to 5 plus 9%. Okay. Lower body day. This is squat number 2. What does that mean? You're going to do 2-legged squat exercise. On squat day number 1, we only did 1 2-legged exercise. So here on the A, we are going to do back squat, we decrease the tempo because 85% on intensity is hard. The rest you increase to 180. B, you have to do another regression of a back squat. So what we're going to do here is a box squat. That's a regression. 3 times. Now it's a B exercise, so you can increase the number of repetitions. 3 times 8, 2, 0, 1, 0. Also, because the range of motion is less, the rest is 120 seconds. C1, what you're going to do here, you want to do a knee extension exercise. What we're going to do here is a seated knee extension machine, single leg. We do this with neutral feet position, and we do 3 times 10, 2, 0, 1, 0. The rest will depend on the C2. That is going to be a hip extension exercise. We're going to do a good morning from pins. Why is that? Because you want always to have the same range of motion. When the athlete is tired, he may not do the whole movement or the whole range of motion. That's why you do it on the pins, and you will put the pins where you want the range of motion. So 3 times 10. You can have the same amount of sets or less, and you have the same amount of repetitions or more. We'll be increasing repetitions here and here, and the tempo it's 2 0 1 0. Rest. This is single. This is bilateral, and means 75 seconds. Okay. We move to upper body day. Upper body day number 1. Incline, bench, press, pronated grip, shoulder width. $120, A2, you're going to have a chin up, neutral grip, shoulder width. We said already that you have to double the shoulder width and the neutral grips for the upper body days. Here we're going to add 5 kilos to increase the intensity. So we decrease the number of repetitions, but we're still in the range of 16 to 18 repetitions per week or per workout. Now we're going to have a dumbbell decline, bench press, alternated, okay, on a neutral grip. We already have a pronated grip on the A1, B1 is going to be neutral grip. What we're going to do here, 3 times 8, 3 times 8, on a 2, 0, 1, 0. You want to be consistent in the tempo, and the rest will depend on the B2 exercise. What we're going to do here is a penalty row with pronated grip. We have neutral grip, shoulder, neutral grip, shoulder width. Here we're going to have pronated grip, shoulder width. Why we put 1 in here? Because you want to make sure you're not rebounding with the barbell. Okay, the rest, unilateral, bilateral, 25, 75, 25 seconds. C1. We here on C1 we're going to do an EC bar pronated grip. It's much more difficult. Pronated grip. Here we do 2 times 10, 2, 0, 1, 0, and the rest will depend on the exercise. C2 exercise, what we're going to do here is a cable, tricep extension or pull down, okay, 2 times 10, 2, 0, 1, and 1. The last one will be in full extension. That's what we want. Always have full extension. The rest is bilateral. This is bilateral. So it's 60 seconds. We're in intensification phase, so we need to increase the rest time. Here, this is lower body, okay, number 2, A1, full deadlift, is full deadlift. With the deadlift happens the same as the front squat, which is you don't do more than 6 repetitions, but in this case it doesn't matter because we are from 3 to 5, so we already are within that range. 2, 1, you want to wait, you don't want to rebound, you want to do as fast as you can. This is intensification phase, and you hold 1 second, you extend your whole trunk. B, back lunge, do a back lunge, dumbbells, okay, and the rest here is 180. Back and lunge, you do 3 times 8, 2, 0, 1, 0, rest 90 seconds, C1, calf raise, standing. We include here the gastrocnemius, is a fast twitch fiber muscle, so that's why we include it in here. 3 times. We're going to decrease the number of sets. We're going to increase the number of repetitions. 2, 2, 2, and 2. You want to increase the time under tension on the calf raise, on the standing calf raise, okay? The rest will depend on C2. What we're going to do on C2 is a strongman exercise or ab exercise. We already do an ab exercise. One important thing to consider in here is that you already did deadlift that might get tired on your forearms. So you could think about farmer walk or suitcase carry. But if you're tired on your forearms, I think it's a better option to do a kettlebell on the shoulder. In this way, you hold the kettlebell on your shoulder. You're not using the strength of your forearms that might be tired. You don't want any injury. So kettlebell on the shoulder. You 2 times 20 steps. And in this fashion, you are always working the core muscles because you have to balance your body. Okay. Bilateral. This is unilateral. 75 seconds rest. Okay. This one doesn't apply in the tempo. And we're going to finish with upper body number 2. A1 would be dips. Remember that to be considered a good dip, you have to have your shoulder below your elbow. So if the athlete cannot do dips, he can do a decline bench press. Here is dips, neutral grip, shoulder width, three to five. We're going to do here a chin up or pull up with a pronated grip, wide stance or wide grip, because we haven't done that before, and we add the 5 kilos that we said before, same. And here we're going to do 2010. The rest will be 120 seconds. We do 2010, the rest 120 seconds. Okay, A1, A2. On the B series, B1, we're going to have an incline dumbbell bench press, single arm, okay, on a pronated grip. Here we're going to do 3 times, we're going to do 3 times 8, 2010. The rest will depend on the B2 exercise. What we're going to do here is a seated pull on the cable machine with elbows close to the body, okay, on a neutral grip. I'm going to mark something in here in a second. Neutral grip, 3 times 8, 2010, unilateral, bilateral, so it's 75, rest is 75 seconds. On C1, we already said then this type of exercise, when it's so hard for the shoulder, we want to do some shoulder health. So we're going to do external rotation over the knee, external rotation over the knee, and the knee would be at 90 degree. Okay, 2 times 10, 2010. Okay, the rest would depend. We're going to do reverse flies with dumbbells on an incline bench. Zero, 1, 0. The rest single, bilateral, 45 seconds. We want to neutral grip, pronated grip, neutral grip, pronated grip, no, this wrong. This must be supine. You see, that's important to recap what you're doing. Supine grip. Now we have neutral, supine. Pronator grip and neutral grip. So what we're doing here is we're doubling the neutral grips and the shoulder width. That's very important to take into account. Okay. The other thing that we have to mention in here, I'm going to do it in a second, is that you have to remember that from intensification, from accumulation to intensification, you have to reduce the volume, and increase the intensity. We already saw that the intensity was increased. Seven to nine will take 9 because it's basically that A movement. We have to increase the intensity, we have to decrease the volume. Let's see if that's true. 3 times 9 equals 27. 3 times 5 equals 15. We accomplished what we wanted. Increase intensity, decrease volume. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.